YouTube, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Now, I'm not sure 100% if I'm going to continue making build videos. I know I definitely want to continue making builds and messing around with different builds in this game, but I don't know if I really want to upload them because obviously it's at that point where the numbers are dropping and all that. So I have no idea if I really care too much to really sit here and try so hard just to get views right now, especially when it's like, there's a lot of other things I can spend my time on other than just, making a build, refining it, then, taking the time to actually record it, put it up on the channel, make the thumbnail, all that stuff. Even though it doesn't really take like that much time, but it's still like, a little bit of time that I could be putting into something else, into some of my other games. So that's mainly the whole reason why I don't know if I want to. But if you guys want to see other builds, let me know in the comment section below. And I definitely will. Obviously, requested builds I will take the time to actually do, but on my own time, I have no idea if I'm going to make build videos or not on other builds I try to create. Because I'm trying to get ideas for the Vince Carter No Money Spent squad, the Vince Sanity's Vengeance rerun that we're doing. Just like the LeBron's legacy thing this year with the Bron squad. Doing it again with Vince Carter and 25. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're obviously not going to do it until like December, but, getting the ideas out there for now. But anyway, we got Charles Barkley here, and I definitely was having a lot of fun trying to figure this out because it's like Charles Barkley hasn't been in 2K in like fucking forever. So we might as well try and make Charles Barkley to the best of our ability from what we know about Charles Barkley. Obviously, just starting off here, he was a power forward, 6'6", so he was like a little undersized, but he had some weight and had a wingspan to him. I don't know his exact wingspan, but I just went with the max wingspan just so we can get as much rebounding as possible, because he was known as the mound of rebound for a reason, because he was able to grab rebounds. Confirmed by his like 14 point something rebounds per game in a single season. In his MVP season, he still grabbed over 12 rebounds a game with like 5 assists and, steals and blocks and all that. So it's really, really insane. But with this build that we have here, we have an 86 close shot, we have an 80 driving layup, a 73 driving dunk, an 82 standing dunk, as well as a 90 post control. Now, what's really, really good about all this, and the reason why I'm going to talk about all this, is because it's like, you don't really have to be like considering that he was still like a really good scorer, practically averaging like over 20 points per game, pretty much. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think it's like 23 points per game throughout his entire season, and still was like averaging like around 4 assists and 12 rebounds or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just one of those things where, he's great at scoring. So it's like with this build, you are able to score, but you're not going to be just taking any random shots out there. You're going to be only taking the most efficient shots out there. Hence why we have an 80 driving layup. Hence why we have an 86 close shot, and we don't have a super high driving dunk or standing dunk. But we do have a 90 post control, so we can utilize our strength, especially against like, small forwards and other like quote unquote meta builds that are trying to be a 4 or like a small ball or something like that, but in reality don't have the strength that we had, because we have that gold back down punisher, we have that Hall of Fame postman technician, Dream Shake is available. It's just something that's a really, really strong here. The fact that we're able to also get silver and pluckable. So with that being said, it's just really, really good that we have a really high post control, even though we don't have like a high standing or driving dunk at all. But we do have a good driving layup as well. And the reason why we have an 80 driving layup is because, once you get to like a 78, because you can get to a 77 for gold float game, then at 78, you get the aerial wizard on gold. And then it's like at 79 is a really, really good breakpoint for animation specifically, because at a 79 is when you get Jimmy Butler layup package. And Jimmy Butler's layup package is actually really, really good and one of the best ones on there. Obviously, that could be opinionated, but as far as I'm aware, like I have had really, really great animations using Jimmy Butler. Like obviously, like for the longest time in 2K history, if you guys know, you know, but it's like default swing was really, really good in like the go-to for a long, long time for a lot of people. And then obviously like the last couple years where it's like animations have become super important, especially this year, it's like now we're really diving deep into the bag of these animations and trying to figure out which ones are the best. But Jimmy Butler so far has been one of the best layup package animations in the game, especially with its 79 layup rating needed. So you can just get that 79 and get it, or you can go to an 80 and then get that slithery on silver as well, which is what I did here. But it's like, if you are able to go up to like an 84, 85, whatever it is for Jaylen Brown also has a really good animation package as well for layups. And then also LeBron is like one of the better ones as well. If we're just talking about default day ones, but obviously if you add in like the ones that got added in eventually throughout the seasons, you have Tyrese Halliburton, I believe, got an animation, a layup package animation set for that. Jordan Poole obviously has a really, really, flashy one, kind of like your Jamal Crawfords, all that stuff right there. And then you also have like ones, I think DeMar DeRozan, if I'm not mistaken, has a really, really good one as well, for whatever his requirements are. But I definitely do know that those that I mentioned are like the better ones that I mentioned. So the 86 close shot, making sure really that we have that fearless finisher. If we are going to get layups and have it be contested, I apologize. I just woke up before recording this, but yeah, just so like if we do happen to drive and get like late closeouts that give us a contact layup, we have gold fearless finisher. So as long as we're just able to time the layup, we should be really, really good there. The 73 driving dunk is also just there for posterizer. Now I know that probably some people would confuse posterizer with the idea of it only working for contact dunks, when it's not really the case. It says improves the likelihood of postering your opponent, but that doesn't mean improving your contact dunks. I mean, obviously we have precision dunker. Like if you were wanting to do contact dunks, precision dunker says improves a player's ability to make skill dunks. Not saying that obviously precision dunker, not saying that, you have to do skill dunks to posterize your opponents, but I'm just saying like at a lower tier badge, you kind of have to. But at the same time, it's not like you're really focusing on trying to contact dunk your opponents. This badge in particular is just there just to make sure that we can still get those dunks off with just a regular X square dunks, whatever you want to call it, depending on what console you're playing on. So if you are literally just using X dunks and, trying to just do like the regular schmegular, just safe dunks in general, and somebody closes out late or are in the paint, but they just can't close out in time before you get the animation, if you have posterize, it'll definitely help you at least get the dunk to work in that scenario as well, instead of just you doing the animation and then you still missing the dunk. The 72 standing dunk as well is just here for rise up, making it like easier to get those dunk animations, so standing dunk animations that we're going to be having. Not like it's going to be too crazy because we're only 6'6", so we're not going to get too many crazy standing dunk animations, but we can still at least get some just in case we are under the basket wide open when we catch the ball, so we can get a standing dunk animation, especially like the best ones that we can. And also with the rise up, it just makes it a little bit easier there just to get it. But for the most part, let's move on over to shooting, because we do have an 84 mid-range shot, which is pretty good. We have a 73 point rating and a 70 free throw. The 84 mid-range here is just for the sake of having that Deadeye on silver and then Mini Magician on gold. And then the 73 point rating is not really there for anything in particular other than Claymore. And I also feel like it's a really, really good of a, like, it's a good rating for Charles Barkley. I know some people will be like, oh, just go to a 76, it's a better break point. But the 70 rating here just kind of makes sense, because If you guys did not know, it's like Charles Barkley can obviously shoot threes, but he like throughout his entire career, I think he was only averaging like a 27% 3-point shooter or something like that. So he was able to actually shoot threes, but it's not like he was, effective really on shooting those threes, especially when you're shooting under 30%. It's kind of one of those situations where it's like, why are you even taking those shots if you're going to be missing a lot of them? And it's the same thing with free throws as well. Being a 70, I feel like just kind of makes sense. Even though it's like in terms of 2K, as long as you have like an animation that you can green every single time, it doesn't really matter. Or as long as you can just time it, really every single shot, you should be fine to have like really any free throw rating at all, like in general, just to be able to green. And it's just one of those things where having a 70 just match with the 3-point rating kind of made sense, just because it's like you have it lower, whatever, and it's not really going to benefit you to take it away and like add on to other places, because the breakpoints are very, very specific that we have here. But in general, it just makes sense just because he also like is about a 74, 75 free throw shooter. So it does make a little bit of sense just to have it here just a little bit like under that threshold to like a 70. So in my personal opinion, that kind of makes sense there. The playmaking we have is a 77 pass accuracy, the 75 ball handling, and a 70 speed with ball. And the thing is, with him being the large mound of rebound, that doesn't mean that he can't, pass the ball a little bit. Like I said, I think he averaged like about 4 to 5 assists per game. I think it's like closer to 4 assists per game throughout his entire career. But I do know that his MVP season, he averaged like about 5, had like 12 rebounds, something like that as well. So not only was he just a great rebounder and a great scorer as well, because I think that was like, one of his better seasons on scoring. I don't think it was his best scoring season, but I think it was like, one of his more consistent seasons before like he just started dropping off, I think. I think that was like the last like overall great season he had when it comes to scoring, where he had like 25, 26 points per game as well, on top of the 5 assists, 12 rebounds. I think he had like 1.5 steals maybe, and like a block per game, like crazy numbers. But just in general, it's like he's 6'6", but he has like a lot of weight on him. Yes, he does, 252 pounds, but a 70 speed ball is really, really solid here, just because the 70 speed ball does give you the pro animations. Now, if you didn't want the pro animations, you can still get good and get the good normal animations. Because, like I said, good. They are good animations. Contrary to popular belief or something like that, but normal dribble style is also pretty fucking solid. It does require a 40 speed of ball, so it doesn't really require much, but it is a really, really good threshold for non-ball handlers, reaching at least that 40, especially for bigs. If bigs getting the 40 speed with ball at least just to get that normal dribble style, it's fucking fantastic. But here you can also go with the 70 speed with ball, since we're able to at least be like a secondary ball handler. Like I mentioned, he could pass the ball, so we have a 77 pass accuracy for that reason. Really, really good threshold. But the 75 ball handling is also very, very solid. We get that ankle breaker on silver. Not really only for that, but we have that killer combos, and a lot of it's just for the sake of us just getting decent animation, so we're not just completely blown out of the water, even for being 6'6". So we can at least do something else other than just, be there to pass the ball and score and just rebound. So, we can at least play a little bit of a secondary ball handler. We're not going to be the best, but, we can at least take a little bit of pressure off of the point guard, because they know that we can at least handle the ball to an extent, especially if we are facing other power forwards or small forwards or anything like that. 9 times out of 10, they're going to try and be meta, so they won't have a super, super high steal where they can just rip you every single time, as long as you know what you're doing with the ball. So 77 pass accuracy. I mean, we know that you can pass the ball. 75 ball handling and a 78 speed ball, just so we can have some quality of life improvements when using this particular build when it comes to handling the ball. So that's practically the main reason why. We have hyperdrive, we have blow by on bronze, as I mentioned, killer combos, we have ankle breaker, but most importantly, I mean, we have gold physical handles as well, which is pretty damn solid. And then we also have triple strike on silver as well, handles for days. Pretty good stuff there. Defense is kind of like the bread and butter of this build, though. We have an 88 interior defense, just so we can indeed get that gold post lockdown, baby. If we're going to be a little shorter, we might as well just make it to where we can't be abused. Post lockdown on gold. We also have workhorse on gold as well. Pretty solid stuff there. Perimeter defense being a 76. We're not going to be, insane on the perimeter, just because we kind of need to focus more on being able to defend the inside and grabbing the boards. But, sometimes you just don't have that choice. Sometimes you just got to guard the perimeter. So at least we have a 76, just so we can have that 94 feet, just in case we want to play, a little bit of a game of, full court press or something like that, especially late game. If we're in a late game situation where we're up and we're trying to prevent them from getting down the court as fast as possible, having that 94 feet on at least bronze is pretty good. But more importantly, you're not going to be the one doing it, but it's just there just so you can send multiple people down the court. And then also we have Challenger. Challenger is probably the main reason why we have all this, though. So pretty good stuff there. We got at least bronze on everything. Now, when it comes to the steal rating, like I mentioned, he was pretty good at getting steals, but obviously with us being 6'6", it's kind of hard to get steals because we are 6'6". Now, that's the reason why we're able to get like an 88 interior defense, an 87 defensive rebound, a 74 offensive rebound, as well as like a 90 like post control and all that stuff. It's literally just because we are 6'6". Now, if we were like a little bit taller, then it would be a little bit harder for us to get the interior and the rebounding stuff as well, just because we get taller. So it's like it will literally cost me like almost my entire rebounding in general, for both offense and defense, just to get my steal rating up to like maybe a 75 or something like that. So it's not really going to do a whole lot in terms of like, all that stuff, because like I mentioned, we are 6'6", so a lot of our perimeter defense stuff is going to be a lot more expensive on our overall than the interior stuff, even though we are a power forward, which is funny as shit. That's why I'm able to have the 88 interior, which is crazy. But yeah, we do have a 70 steal rating, which is good enough for us to get that right stick gripper on top of interceptor. So at least we're able to be a little bit more effective in those lanes, and we can use our right stick to try and get those intercepts, especially on fast breaks and just whenever we're standing in the lanes. We have a 68 block rating because it's like Charles Barkley. We know that he can block the ball, but it wasn't like he was a insane shot blocker, but he can get some blocks. I mean, what guards can't get blocks at all in their career? But yeah, so it's just one of those situations where it's like we have a 68 block because he can get blocks for the most part, but it's not like he can just get an insane amount. So we have a 68 block rating for the sake of having rebound chaser here, just so we can indeed get some blocks on the chase down, just in case somebody gets around us, we can try and chase down, get a block, or maybe on a fast break, we can try and chase down and get a block, whatever the case may be. But it is still a really, really good threshold, I believe, personally. And then we have the 74 and 87 rebounding, respectively, here with the 87 defensive rebound being enough just to get us that gold box out beast. We have silver pogo stick. We have silver rebound chaser as well. Pretty good stuff here. This is the max that we can get on a 6'6" power forward, which is unfortunate. But hey, we do with what we can. Same with the 74 offensive rebound. We have these two maxed out as much as possible. So hey, at least we are getting as high as possible for the person that is named the large or the round mound of rebound. The round mound of rebound needs a high rebound, and we have it as high as we can get it. I can tell you that much. And then for the physicals, we have a 72 speed, 71 XL. 71 XL gives you that silver slippery off ball, which is pretty good. And then the 70 is what really gets you that fast feet badge on bronze, so we can at least stay in front of our guys a little bit on the perimeter. And then the 72 speed, as you can see, gives us that hyper drive badge as well. So it's pretty good stuff there that we're able to get that hyperdrive on bronze, increases dribbling skills while on the move. So it helps us a little bit with that ball handling ability. We're able to get around our players a little bit, utilize our off ball speed with slippery off ball and spot finder, and making sure that we can also utilize our speed when we have the ball with triple strike and blow by. And then also, like on the defense, we can have that fast feet badge, which is pretty good. Strength being a 90 though, strength being 90, we have a weight of 252, so I sure hope that we can have a high strength here. High strength really giving us like every badge here practically on gold, a movable enforcer, very, very fucking solid. But on top of that, it's like we have that back down punisher, as I mentioned, but we also have brick wall, we have that physical handles, we have bulldozer as well, which is pretty damn solid. So that's going to be very, very nice, especially on smaller guards if we get a mismatch. Then we also get clamps from it, but we get fearless finisher. We also got that box out beast as well. It's really, really good having that 90 strength. So that's pretty fucking solid there. 75 vertical, nothing really too crazy here, but you know, the vertical does indeed allow us to have rise up, pogo stick, chase down artist, aerial wizard on gold, posterizer on bronze as well. So nothing too crazy there, but it just allows us to get more animations and does allow us to help out a little bit and get some more rebounds. So a 95 stamina, nothing too crazy here though. The 95, obviously, you know, super, super high. Unfortunately, it's not like it matters. Not like we can get the workhorse badge on Hall of Fame, so there's no point in going to a 99. When we can sacrifice, you know, those 4 points for everything else, which is what we did. We sacrificed 4 points in it just so we can put it somewhere else just to get these great break points. But we have 94 feet as well, and then, you know, handles for days. But we do have a 95 stamina, which I still feel like is pretty damn good. Now, what we got is Anton Jameson, we got Pascal Siakam, we also got Julius Randle as well. So practically the only other person that I feel like I have seen on this list as of, you know, as of like all the times that I have tried it out and had other people helping me out, giving me some ideas, was Jalen Johnson, I believe, is the only other person that we have seen on this list. We have a two-way inside the arc threat. You know, pretty insane. I feel like it's pretty good for Charles Barkley. It's just a little rough trying to make Charles just because he's not in the game. You can't get his comparison. So that's just kind of like one of the situations that makes it a little bit harder on trying to make a build on somebody that's not in the game. But we did it with Elmore Smith. And then we are now doing it with Charles Barkley. So I'm pretty sure there are plenty of players that are also, you know, not in 2K still as well, like Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller is a good example here as well, because, I mean, to be fair, those are the two biggest names in basketball right now that obviously is not in 2K, that have since been retired, been in the Hall of Fame, 75 anniversary team, all that stuff. So just one of those situations where like we can try and make Reggie Miller if you guys are interested. It'll probably be similar to the Larry Bird build though, so we'll probably get shades of Larry Bird. Because, you know, one of the best shooters of all time, and again, one of the other best shooters of all time. Crazy. But let me know what you guys want to see. If you guys want to see more builds, let me know in the comment section below. If you guys have any you know, players that you want to see me try and make, let me know as well in the comment section down below. That's going to be it for me. I'll see you all in the next one. Later, everybody.